The small bit this month is this, but it's important. Basically, Microsoft got rid of the Azure Active Directory name entirely. It wasn't new. They warned us up front. They announced it a few months ago. They're going to rebrand it. They have. Now, all the references to Azure Active Directory everywhere, and by the way, even on all the other documentations, in the Office 365 portal, in your licensing reports from the Office 365 portal, you will see Entra ID instead of Azure Active Directory. So please remember that it's a name. The product itself didn't change. I guess Microsoft just wants to sell products under the new name Entra. So there you go. This is what we're getting. Another interesting update before we go into very big and important ones is that Microsoft introduced, again, I think they promised a promise to indemnify you if you get a copyright claim as a result of using Copilot. Microsoft will protect you legally. What are they trying to say by that? Maybe that basically they're sure that you will never get a copyright claim. But if you do, there you go. Microsoft promised to protect you. If you want to read the actual text, please go to the Microsoft Terms website, to the updates, and read it yourselves. There's no reason to waste time on this live show. By the way, those of you who have any questions in regards to licensing, not necessarily about what I'm talking about right now, please use chat to ask your questions. Brilliant. And we have people returning, which is nice. So the biggest change is Microsoft, what they promised and what I talked about last month, they did. And now we have, from the 1st of October, we have European Office plans without Teams. Which means if you don't need Teams, you have a €2 per user per month price decrease, but you won't have Teams. Those of you who are on current subscriptions in Switzerland and European Economic Area, you can continue using them, or you can switch to new subscriptions without Teams. If you want to bring Teams back, it won't be €2 per user per month, it will be €5 per user per month. So, not a price increase, but a price increase in total. Because new clients who haven't been subscribed to Microsoft 365 plans before, the only option for them is to buy it in the European area. The only option for them to buy Microsoft 365 and Office 365 enterprise plans, those that are listed on this screen, is only to buy them without Teams. So Samir is saying, we just received the prices without Teams for Office 365 and 365 as a reseller for EA customers in the November 2023 price list. November. The availability is from now, from October. So maybe there's a glitch somewhere in the process between Microsoft and the partners. But this is what we're getting. And if you look here, if there's a new client, and they, for example, take Office 365 E1, and they want to add Teams, so compared to the existing clients, they will be paying 32% more. The bigger the current plan is, the smaller is the difference, but there's still a difference. There's still an uplift. So if you want to continue existing subscriptions and you need Teams, continue. If you want to drop it, you can drop it. Simple. But be aware of all the changes. So with frontline workers, the choice remains, fortunately, with all the F plans, the choice remains. Even in the European Union, you may still procure those plans that are currently on the screen, and business plans as well, either or, with Teams or without Teams. It's choice. You have a choice. But if you want to bring Teams back later, for example, on these two plans, it's better to buy additional subscriptions instead of bringing in Teams because the price is just multifold. It's a multiple of the plan without Teams. The other thing that we need to mention today is Copilot. So a few clarification came in. It will only, Copilot M365 for Microsoft 365, it will only be available this year, it seems, to enterprise clients. Not just enterprise clients, there's a barrier of at least 300 licenses, which is on an annual subscription, is in dollars, in American dollars, so obviously you'll have your regional price lists, is $108,000 of investment into Copilot. That's the minimum. There's no way you can buy fewer. It's not available in CSP. It will not be available in CSP. It will only be available in 3 channels. 3 channels? 2 channels. Microsoft Enterprise Agreement and so-called MCAE, which is like CSP, but directly from Microsoft, not through a CSP partner. So forget about Copilot, M365 Copilot this year. Why they did that? So I did a poll on LinkedIn and I asked people, why do you think it happened? Not a poll, a post. And the majority of people agree on it's probably because they want to test it. However, there are already some companies that were early adopters and they're already testing it. Maybe, and this is what I think it is, because it needs access to enterprise data, and it doesn't use that enterprise data, at least that's what they promised, to train the global model. For it to produce results that are relevant to your organization, they need to have access to a massive set of data. So effectively training a local model for the artificial intelligence, the knowledge base. And our assumption was that is that they need a big knowledge base. That's why there's this barrier of 300 users. Otherwise, what would be the reason? I have a problem with that because some expert, my company, is a small business and we want Microsoft 365 Copilot, but because we can't afford 300 licenses, we don't have that many people, we can't use it. And the big companies that will start adopting it, they will have a competitive edge. They will be more advanced. And I don't like saying, trust me. I'll give you an example. We use ChatGPT since its commercial plan was introduced. And it costs $20 per user per month. Just to me, in what I do as a CEO of the company plus somebody responsible for marketing, I did the calculation recently and it was stunning. It saved me, since I started subscribing to it, $40,000 already. If I didn't have any AI like that, I would have had to pay that money or use my own time to produce the results that it produced for me. And those who will carefully adopt Copilot will get those benefits. They will get those benefits. Small companies will be lagging behind. And if the fantastic use cases that Microsoft demonstrates in their videos and presentations are actually working, that means better decision making, better note taking. Well, I should probably stop at better decision making. Quicker, better, more consolidated. It's not like it's without its flaws. So there are some people that share now on social media Copilot hallucinations and entirely wrong responses. But that's not the experience of our clients. Our big clients, especially those who are early adopters of Copilot, you won't take them off that hook now. They love it. So it is what it is. Again, on our website, we have an article that fully covers ROI and other considerations about Copilot. Another thing that you need to know that is not in the Microsoft updates, and by the way, for some reason, Microsoft did not update their Microsoft product terms in regard to extended security updates. And this is time to start thinking about it for all versions, for example, Windows 2012, Windows 2012 R2 with the server. Microsoft promised, and they actually did deliver, because it's those of you who are CSP, please confirm that that's correct. ESU, extended security upgrades, are now on the CSP price list, but that's not the only news. So Microsoft promised, hopefully they just forgot to update the product terms, that extended security upgrades through CSP and through other channels can now be freely taken to CSP hosters and SPLA providers. To be honest, the SPLA providers option, it always existed. The only thing that is still unclear is whether you can take them to either listed providers like Google, Amazon, and Alibaba now, because previously you weren't allowed to. You were only limited actually only to licensed mobility partners. Now they're saying that you can take to any SPLA provider. Where did they say this? So I'm not. You don't take my word for granted. Let me find that. Let me find that announcement. I'm going to put it on screen. Just please bear with me. It was in the September partner updates. New tab. Here. What they said there, it was, so they announced it a month ago, and they said that from October 2023, CSP partners will be able to offer ESUs, and as far as I understand, they're on the price list. Customers will have to, or the right to license to use licenses covered by ESU on deployments on premises or within outsourced environments running on authorized outsourcers. So see what they promised. I know it's small. Let me make it larger. Let me make it larger. On authorized outsourcers, this is as large as I can get. Not just authorized mobility partners, as it's still in the product terms. Google is not an authorized outsourcer. AWS is not an authorized outsourcer. But you can actually use these ESUs on AWS. It's in their FAQ. It's a mess. But then they say also, so forget about this sentence, customer may also apply ESU licenses to license included workloads acquired from service provider licensing agreement partners. And Amazon and Google are SPLA providers. So does this sentence include Amazon and Google? Let me clarify this, and well, obviously I'll post it on the LinkedIn page, possibly on the community tab here on YouTube. It will be in one of our articles on the website, so we'll spread that information as soon as it's clarified, as soon as there's clarity, because right now there's no official confirmation to their own announcement, unfortunately. So if the announcement is correct, the good thing is, at least with other service providers except for Amazon, Google, and Alibaba, except for those, and on Azure you get it automatically. So Azure is a Microsoft's own playground. You get the ESUs there anyway, included in price. You don't have to pay for them. Another unfair advantage of Azure. So you can take ESUs to any provider, even if you get licenses through SPLA. So please listen to me if you use providers. The provider cannot include the ESU in your SPLA monthly costs, but you can take your ESUs and take them to the provider as BYOL. It's a good update, but the only thing is I'd like to see it stipulated in product terms with the updated language, which they haven't updated since 2019, I think. So, all right, let me look at the questions. So Desmond is asking, what are your views on the new ARC-enabled ESUs? There's a concern about Microsoft Azure Arc. The concern is that, according to gentleman I'm talking to right now privately on LinkedIn, who's a SAM manager, is the metadata that Arc sends to Microsoft is quite, I wouldn't say intrusive, but maybe too much. So, for example, again, according to that gentleman, Azure Arc reports the entire add remove programs information to Microsoft. So do you want that to be fully provided to Microsoft so they can see it? It's a big question. It does. So Arc does provide benefits because you can't get ESUs. So that path to get ESUs is not available without Arc. SQL Server per minute on premises is not available without Arc. If you want benefits of it, you have to install it, but then you need to kind of balance the benefits with potential disclosure of information you don't want to disclose. We are not an IT security company, but that's an issue that I'd like to monitor. So I have background in IT security, and it really just triggers my personal interest in what are the downsides of using Azure Arc. Let me not give you any promises, but if we research this, then I can promise that we're going to make a video about it. Just dedicated video about cons and pros of Azure Arc. Okay. That is it for the updates. I don't want to make it a very long video, and apologies for those of you who joined at the very beginning and there was no sound. We'll correct this in the YouTube editor. Unfortunately, we'll have to do it only tomorrow when I'll be in Spain. And by the way, if somebody is around Malaga and Ronda, we can have a meeting. Just send me a message through LinkedIn is the best way, actually. So, thank you for being here. As far as I'm concerned, there are no currently pressing questions from your side. Have a very productive week, a very productive month. The next live will be in the first Wednesday of November, unless there'll be something extraordinary which will call for a urgent video or urgent live. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet to receive updates on whatever we publish here. Sometimes there could be short videos, there could be urgent videos, there could be long trainings. I had a question I want to answer now, whether we're going to run a live Microsoft licensing training this year. The answer is probably not, but the plan is to record the training, update the training, and to publish it as a video. So we'll keep these monthly lives for all the Q&As, but we'll remove the fluff from the training videos. The last live was, I think, 3.5 hours. It's just not bearable, neither for me nor for the audience. You can see how people drop off after 2 hours. If we record a dedicated video, it'll probably be half of that length, if not less. So it will be a win-win for everyone. One of the options, by the way, is just to go live and just play back that video, pause it sometimes, take questions, resume the video. Why not? It's totally possible. So thanks again. Have a great week and great month, and we'll see you around on social media. Goodbye, and take care, and smile.